Just a reminder, please use the raise hand button if you have any questions. With that said, I don't see any hands raised right now. So if someone wants to start us off with the first question, Will, you can start us off.
Matt, as far as the decision to put Michael in there instead of Dennis at left guard, what went into that, and what did you see from that decision?
We started Dennis. He banged up with the rotator cuff. Michael's been coming along, practicing. He likes, like we've had with other guys, had some issues in pass pro. I thought he was excellent in the run game. I thought he was a tone setter in the run game, had a lot of good reps in the pass game. Got picked on one, which is really, it'll look like to everyone else like it was on him, but it's really on the back. We need the back to execute a technique that we used that they did later on in the game when they tried it again. So I thought Michael did some really good things and is going to bring a physical presence to the line that we're looking for.
And secondly, I know this might be a reach to ask at this point, but do you have an idea of what you might be able to expect from Stefan this week?
I don't. We're going to practice him. Obviously he hadn't done much on the pup list. He's been running and moving with our guys, so we'll try to practice him this week and see what that what level he can, what level he's at right now, and then how he'll respond after that. So that's something I'll have a better answer for probably even Thursday.
All right, let's go to David Newton next.
Yeah, Matt, I was going to ask about Stefan as well. Is there any chance you think he might be able to play on Sunday, or is that way too early?
I'm hoping he plays on Sunday. It's been kind of the plan all along. That being said, I'm not going to ever put a guy out there before he's ready. So sometimes it's hard, it's hard for guys to get ready to play a game with 1 week of practice. So we'll practice him and again, see how he looks, see how he feels, and then at the same time, see how he responds afterwards.
And what will he bring, you think, now that you've kind of been around him a little bit, bring to this group?
Well, I think he brings elite playmaking. At the end of the day, he picks balls off, he knocks balls away, he covers guys. I think that's as many good players as we can have, what we'll take. So I think he'll bring a lot of that. And then obviously he's a guy that people listen to. He's been there and done that. And so, he's a guy that we can take a lot from.
Okay. Thanks.
Let's go to Steve Reed, followed by Will Kunkel.
Hey, Matt, I wanted to keep with the cornerbacks real quick here. CJ Henderson was a scratch on Sunday. Now, he wasn't listed on the injury report Friday. I do know that, he had the shoulder issue earlier in the week. So was he just a healthy scratch, or did something crop up? Or I wonder if you can explain that. And also,
sorry, Steve. Sorry, Steve. Go ahead, finish.
No, I was going to follow up after quick.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he was on the injury report on Friday. I think he was limited on Friday, if not questionable for the game. I could be. I think that's what we did.
You're right.
Am I right? Okay. Yeah. So he was questionable. So, we got to the game and he's healthy enough to play, but how well was he going to play with that shoulder? We weren't sure. So I went with Rashawn instead in our 5 corner package, which I thought was really good for us. So hopefully CJ will be, a week of, injured that shoulder last week against Philly. Hopefully, a week later now it's calmed down and we can roll with him a little bit more this week.
And how did you Keith Taylor played?
Yeah, I thought Keith, obviously Keith was involved on that last play, which we'd love to double that route. But I thought Keith played man-to-man against their best players. Thielen made an unbelievable catch in the end zone that, I was hoping he was out of bounds on. But Keith played well all game. He probably played a lot of plays, and at the end of the game would have loved to have maybe him have played a little less. He played on special teams as well, just kind of where we are. We lost some guys in that game pretty quickly, and he had to step up. But all that being said, I think Keith. When you go back and look at the tape, I think like guys like Ian Thomas, Keith Taylor, some of those guys are playing some of their best football. What we need some of our, difference maker, difference maker guys to make some plays. That's kind of what I said after the game, right? We need to make some plays, hit the quarterback, get the ball out, all those different things that, we have guys we expect to do that. Didn't happen. And that puts guys like Keith, they got to cover a long time. I thought he did a really nice job in a lot of areas, and he's going to continue to grow, be a really good player, I think, here for a long time.
Hey, Matt, how difficult is it to really assess Sam's play when the offensive line is spotty at times, the receivers are dropping balls, just things are happening around him that he just can't control, even if he makes the right play?
I think it's all part of it. Sam's not playing well enough. Let's start there. Okay. And which means that Sean and Joe and me are not coaching good enough. We're 3-3, right? There's a lot of teams that are 3-3. And I think it's really starkly clear in front of us what the issues are. We think we turned the ball over twice in our 3 wins. We've turned the ball over 8 times in our 3 losses. Now, when I say Sam's not playing, well, what does that mean? Well, that means the offensive line isn't getting it done for him. It means the running backs aren't getting it done for him. I mean, everyone on offense, every receiver, every tight end, every back, every O-lineman, their job is to help our quarterback play well. And, we are not getting that done. And the shame of the game yesterday to me, when you really go back and watch the game, is, we ran the football well. We just have not been committed enough to running it. And that's going to change. I can just tell you right now, you'll see a vastly different look from us moving forward. We're not going to line up and drop back and throw it 40 times a game and think that that's going to win the game for us. It hasn't. And so, there's no McCaffrey. Well, Chuba's showing us that he can run the football at a high level when given enough opportunities. So we're gonna redefine who we are, and we're gonna run the football, and we're gonna protect our quarterback, and we're not gonna turn the ball over anymore. And that's the only way that we're gonna win. If we do that, our defense will play better. I thought our special teams stepped up yesterday. I know Chase has kind of felt it a little bit, but I think he's done a great job of getting Zane and, even when Ryan showed up last week, getting our operation. We can kick field goals now. We kick the ball through the end zone. All those questions that were early on about our field goal kicker. What has not improved is our protection and our passing game and all those things. And so we're going to fix that this week. And we have a real challenge this week with the Giants. We know that we need to fix ourselves first. And we don't need to panic. We don't need to throw, the baby out with the bathwater. We're 3-3. We got to stop turning the football over, and we have to stop the run on defense. If you look at just our 3 wins, we held people to 3 yards a carry, and our three losses, it's over 5.5 or something like that. So we got to stop the run on defense, and we have to protect the quarterback. And Sam has to protect the football. And so I know you asked me about Sam. Yes, it's hard to judge him with all those things happening around him. But we have to get outside the pocket and just throw balls away. We have to take the easy thing. And I think if you want to see that, you saw that yesterday with Kirk Cousins. He took whatever was there and, didn't let us hit him, didn't let us, sack him, got the ball out of his hands, and they moved the ball down the field. So it's a long-winded answer, but it's really, really exactly where I think we are right now.
All right, let's go to Joe Person for the next question.
Hey, Matt, on the running game, you guys brought Spencer Brown up this weekend and then didn't make him active. What was the deal there?
Yeah, it's a good question. It really, Joe, that doesn't fall on Scott. That falls on me. We were bringing him up to play him. And we had practiced Shy as well as the third tailback, and bringing Spencer up as an emergency third, and then got to game day and just with some of the injuries to the O-lineman decided, we better just go with 9 guys up. So obviously if we make that decision on Saturday, we don't elevate Spencer. But just kind of, some of our guys were sort of day-to-day injury wise up front on the O-line, and got to right before the game and made the decision to go with 9 O-linemen. It kind of going back to what I just said, feeling like it was really important to make sure we could protect the quarterback. So would love to be able to make that decision on Saturday, but some of these guys were, I'm not going to say game time decisions, but just wanted to make sure that they were healthy all the way up until we were ready to go.
And then just following up on what you said about running the football, what was the tipping point to kind of get you to step in now and make this change?
I wouldn't even say necessarily a change, Joe. I mean, I know I guess it kind of is. I would say more of like you're sitting back and you're watching us, and defense gets a nice turnover, right? And then we hand a speed sweep that counts as a pass. We hand a speed sweep off to Shy, and he goes a wild left end for whatever it was, 12 yards. And then we hand the same play we ran on the 2-point conversion. We run there to Chuba, and it's a little college-y type play, and he walks into the end zone, and then I'm saying to myself, like, hey, we're doing some really good things. They're down in the red zone the previous 4 weeks. We had, for the last two, Sam was running the football and zone reads and all those things. And doesn't mean we're not going to throw it, but I just think what we're seeing is we're seeing people come out and just play us man, rush 5 and dare us to throw it and hit the quarterback. Right. And so even if for our line, even if they protect it, even if they protect 7 out of 10, that's 3 times where he either gets hit or sacked or, he's running for his life. And as a result, there's guys open at times when we're running and we don't need to run. And so it's just not for us where we are right now. The recipe, we came in saying we were going to run the football. We've not done it at the level that, early on, we weren't running it great. We've gotten better running the ball every week. When you look at the tape, I just don't know if we're not doing a good enough job as coaches of committing to it and staying with it. So I came into this week saying I wanted to run the ball 33 times. We didn't get that done. And the shame of it is, you watch that game. We block a punt for a touchdown. They go down, they answer. We fumble. The next play, they go down, they score another touchdown, and then we fumble again. So if we just protect the football, we give our defense a chance. And we don't, it was great that we came back and made it a game, but we don't need to get to that point. So that's kind of where I'm at, Joe. Just, we came in with a plan. We've slowly gotten away from it. We've got to get back to it very quickly if we want to win games.
All right, let's go to Scott Fowler next, followed by Darren Gant.
Matt, 2 small follow-ups on the vastly different look, as you called it. What's an ideal number for you now, given what you're saying about redefining the offense for runs per game?
Yeah, I think when you really study the runs, and I'm going to give you a boring answer, Scott, first, but I really mean these are detailed to me. Obviously the more runs you have, the more you win, but that's usually because you're controlling the game in the second half. And so what I like to say is typically I want 55 to 56 runs plus completions in a game. Right. So, we had a lot of plays yesterday that were called runs that if they blitzed the safety, we had a pass killed too. They blitzed the safety a lot. But we have to complete those balls. So I'd say 55, 56 runs plus completions. And I'd like to run the ball 30 to 33 times. I just know this, if you run it 24, and some of those are quarterbacks running on dropbacks. If you call 16, 18, 19, 24, 25 runs, you better have an elite passing game. And right now that's not our strength. So we're not going to turn it over and all of a sudden be a running team that's going to line up and run the ball down your throat. That's not really who we are either. We just have to have a little bit more of a blend of running the ball and throwing the football. To be honest with you, Scott, we have to not turn the football over, and all those are happening on pass plays. And so I just think we have to get back to a little bit more balance. This is not critical of anyone. Sometimes when you win, you start to get away, you're winning a couple ways, you get away from it. And then you get to a game like yesterday, where in the second half, we're in 2nd and long. They knew we were going to throw it and they got after us. And so that's a hard position to put your line in. We're blaming the line a lot. And you know what? I get that, but I always start with me first. And I want a team that runs the football and has balance. And so we just need more balance right now.
So this is something, obviously, I'm sure you and Joe Brady have discussed at length. Why did you slowly get away from it? Is it just the function of being behind in these 3 games that, you threw so much, or was it just more like it worked early and you kind of, just started throwing, you got too tempting to throw that many times?
Yeah, I think what's happened to us, Scott, is when we've gotten behind, like behind the chains, it's been 2nd and 8, 2nd and 9, 2nd and 10. We've always kind of thrown the ball and gotten back. And I think part of that's, when you have, like right now, people are coming out, they're trying to take DJ away, daring us to throw at other places. They're playing man. Like when we had Christian, it's really hard for teams to play man when Christian's out there. So a lot of the things that we were doing early on, we had success with. And I think as you have success with it, you kind of continue to go to that. Well, we're not having success with it right now. And so, to me, it's very simply about always just redirecting and saying, okay, what are we doing well? What are we not doing well? Obviously the questions are going to be a lot about the offense. Same thing on defense, right? Like we were getting a ton of sacks early on by pressuring people and bringing blitzes. Well, we're playing more savvy quarterbacks and they're getting the ball out of their hands. I think they threw like 6 or 7 perimeter screens yesterday, maybe 4 or 5, whatever it was, like either just throwing it out one-on-one on the corner or throwing some tunnel screens. They weren't going to get hit with the blitz. And so, we've got to be a better 4-man rush team moving forward. We've got to stop the run. There's a lot of areas where the football can get better. But I think it's when you start to have success in one area, we have to, we do realize, but I mean, you can see people start to try to defend that, and you have to have other things that you can go to. And that's truly complementary football. That's truly the balance that we're looking for.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Matt, in talking about that balance, how much of that is predicated on protecting Sam versus shortening the game for the defense so those guys aren't out there 89 snaps like they were yesterday?
Obviously we want to do that. I think yesterday, in the first half, I think both teams I think we had 34 plays on offense and we had like 38 plays, 9 plays on defense. So I think it was just a lot of plays. We've been a really good time of possession team through the first maybe 4 games. Maybe I'm not sure what it was last week. I can't remember. I think part of it just really is, I'm going to go back to just protecting the football. The defense gave up 12 points in the first half. They had 2 short fields. There was only 1 long, touchdown drive. The kickoff return, they started with the ball at the 40 and then obviously the turnover. So, we've got to give our defense long fields and just play complementary football, have some field position. And, I think we can all see, like, when our offense gets in rhythm, and again, it's at the end of the game, it's sort of 2-minute-ish. They get a couple plays. If they get a couple plays, then all of a sudden the tempo wears on people. But that's at the end of the game. We need to find a way to be a little bit more efficient in the beginning of the game. But again, it all goes back to me, Darren, to protecting the football.
Let's go to Steven Toronto and then Skylar Callahan.
Coach, just looking ahead to this week for a second, Daniel Jones is from Charlotte, and he actually started playing football after there was a big boost in youth football participation in this area after the Panthers went to the Super Bowl in 2003. In terms of the community, how important is building a winning program so that there's that trickle-down effect into youth football programs and that it sparks something in kids to play football and maybe play in the NFL one day?
I think it's vital. Part of our mission is to serve the community, serve our constituents, our season ticket holders, PSL owners, fans, sponsors. We want to serve them, but we also want to serve the community. And whether that's, all the little things that our staff and players do in terms of, food banks and adopting, different areas and all that, or just winning, so people have something excited to talk about, on game day on Sunday, I went down, got my hair cut, with the 4th Ward barbershop. And it was awesome to see the pictures on the wall going all the way back to like 1997 of just, people that love the Panthers and, just the sense of community that a great football team brings. And, I want kids, it's kind of cool when you walk around, you see kids wearing all different jerseys and, they look up to Jeremy Chin and they look up to Shaq Thompson and Christian McCaffrey and DJ Moore and all those different things. And then they want to go play the game because, there's sometimes a lot of questions about should kids play football? Should kids not play football? Like, I think football is one of the greatest things one of the greatest gifts you can give your children because, it's tough and it's hard. At the same time, you have a chance to be part of a team. I think it's a great learning experience for me in my life. So, we want to win and we will win. And we want the entire community to feel really good about what we're doing. So these are, losing these last 3 games, it's definitely an obstacle. It's adversity, but I always believe the obstacle is the way and it will spur us forward. So we're going to get the football right. We're going to try to get some guys healthy and try to go win this game this week.
Hey, Matt, you just talked about the adversity. How much of a challenge is it mentally to kind of overcome that adversity that you guys have had the last 3 weeks, losing in the fashion that you have?
It is what it is. If that affects us, then we really don't deserve to win anyway. I always believe in you can't I steal this, but you can't win every game, but you can certainly deserve to win every game. And that's what Coach Paterno said. And so, if we prepare at a high level, I thought last week was some of our best weeks of practice. We've got to go out and play at that same level. We can't let if we're ahead or behind, or if we're 3-0 or 0-3, we can't let those situations affect the way that we play. And if you listen, if you go back and listen to things I say before the season, I say when people watch us play, I don't want them to know if we're ahead or behind. And so, I think there has been some adversity. There have been some injuries. There have been all those things. That's true for every team. I mean, there's some 1-5-0 team, 1-6-0 team, whatever it is. There's a couple 5-1, 4-2s. There's a lot of teams living in 3-3 and 2-4 and 4-2. And it's about what you do next. And, I live my whole life based on what's next. Like, I want to attack the next thing. And the next thing is not even this game yet. It's about getting us right now. We've got to eliminate the turnovers. We've got to stop the run. We've got to be in our gaps. We can't have guys, play actions and guys fair catching balls across the field. We've got to eliminate all those mistakes. Our guys practice hard. They play hard. They're great guys. We just got to get the football a little bit better right now. And, then if we can get the football right, as we get guys back, I think we'll have a really good football culture, football mindset, but we got to get that done this week.
All right, we'll go to Jonathan Alexander and then David Newton.
Matt, Robbie seems to be struggling for whatever reason. He was one of a number of players who had drops. And you talked about teams doubling DJ. So what do you think it is with Robbie, and what can y'all do to help that process and providing that help for Sam Darnold?
Yeah, and I want to make sure I probably say that. Sometimes I talk probably too fast. I wouldn't say they're doubling DJ. They're probably more leaning to DJ, if that makes sense. Like they're kind of playing a guy underneath them. So, and there's times where they're not. And we need DJ to produce. We need we had a chance at a couple big plays yesterday that we didn't quite hit on. So, and DJ will this week. I'm certain of it. I think Robbie has to come out and have a great week of practice. He has to have a great week of meetings. He has to put aside all the distractions of what happened last week or the week before, and just come out and have a great week this week. And so, is that really simple? Yes, but that's really hard to do. It's really hard for all of our players to do it. Like I said, in this day and age, like 10 years ago, you weren't looking, or maybe 20 years ago, you weren't looking at Twitter and seeing how everyone ranked your game. You weren't reading your stats on PFF. You weren't, being told, hey, you graded out at 68%. You were just kind of playing the game, going home, coming back in the next day and focused on your job. And so these guys have such a good job of eliminating distractions. I mean, it's everywhere for them. And I'm not saying Robbie's distracted. I'm just saying all he can do right now is put his head down and keep working. And I think sometimes when we have a little bit of adversity or we're not having the production we want, all of us, we start trying to look for other things like, well, maybe I'll do this, maybe I'll do that. What all of us need to do as a team right now is just go back to the simple things, the fundamentals, the fundamentals of, getting open and catching the football and blocking and playing hard, the fundamentals of pass protecting and pass rushing. If we just go back to fundamentals, get the football right, we're not a bad football team. We're a good football team. We're beating ourselves right now. And it's got to get corrected. That's true for me. That's true for Joe. That's true for Phil. That's true for Robbie. That's true for all of us. We've all just got to play a little bit better.
And also, with some of the communication issues as far as the timeouts go, has there been any thought, or does this not help of bringing Joe Brady on, making calls on the field, on the sidelines?
No, I mean, it's the same thing, really. Jonathan, like he's got the microphone. And Joe asked me yesterday, and going back and looking at the tape, those were just two egregiously poor plays, and I'll have to get those cleaned up. And it's just guys got, to be quite honest, guys just lined up wrong, and why that happened, it's off a wristband. So either the play was called wrong or guys were confused. We haven't met with the players yet, obviously, so we'll have more to say about that. The shame of that is we moved the ball right down the field and had the ball at the 35-yard line. Should absolutely take away points. And in a game like that, don't points really matter? And got to the 35 and, obviously had self-inflicted wounds. And so that's all got to stop. It's all got to stop. And, sometimes as coaches, sometimes as players will come in and say, well, we need to start doing this. We need to start doing that. We need to go back to everyone just, getting the football right, doing our jobs, run the football more, protect the football, stop the run, all the things that we believe in. This is a good opportunity for us to get back to that. So that was really disappointing in that moment that happened. And then obviously, you can't call 2 timeouts in a row on offense. That was a really, really, really poor play. And, we'll just have to grow from it.
David, before you ask your question, guys, this will be the last question before we wrap it up. Go ahead, David.
Right. Yeah, man, I'm back to the running game thing. And you had been saying for several weeks now, you guys have to run more, but that hasn't happened. So is that on Joe Brady? Is he just not wanting to run the ball as much? Are you guys philosophically on the same page? Just kind of where will you take over into the play calling, where things are there with you and Joe?
No, me and Joe are great. Let me say that first. I think, like I said, we had a lot of plays yesterday. He called, run calls that were, killed with a pass, versus safety pressures, and they brought them. And, so we're just going to have to find ways of running the football in those situations. And so, Joe wants to win. I want to win. We all want to win. The thing that we're never going to do is we're never going to panic. We're never going to start making big things. At the end of the day, anything that happens here is on me. You know what I'm saying? So in terms of, I have to set the direction, right? And but at the end of the day, if Joe calls a play and I don't like it in the middle of the game, I can always say, no, we're going to do this. So, Joe's calling the game how he sees it, the best way he thinks we can score and move the football. And he's kind of counting on some guys to make a catch, to make a block too. You know what I mean? Like we believe in allowing our players to go play and win. So we got to play a little bit better. And I think for us, for Joe, for me, for the entire offensive staff, we've got to make sure we have the best plan for them. And so I'm not looking back behind. I am strictly moving forward. I think a good leader inserts himself at the point of most friction. So some weeks I might spend a lot of time with the special teams. 2 weeks ago, I was down with the 3 techniques, working on them using their hands and getting off. If I got to spend time offensively this week, I'll do it. Whatever it takes. I'm certainly not a guru, but I want to make sure that we have a well thought out, all of us moving in the same direction, vision. And after 6 games, that's what I see right now. Hey, let's protect the football. Let's run it a little bit more. Let's not try to go throw the drop back and throw the ball 40 times a game. That's just not going to win for us. We'll still do it some. We're going to just want to be really balanced as we move forward.
And I hear you on that, but Joe came in with that reputation for what he did at LSU, and that was a pretty pass happy offense. So I'm just wondering if there's if that's something. He's a young coach still too. So is that something he needs to learn more about? Does this have anything to do with his youth?
Yeah, I don't, I think I'm pretty consistent. You guys know I don't speak on other people. At the end of the day, for me, it's all about me and what I have to do better. Joe's in charge of the offense. He's got to get us to score more points. I'm saying we need to have more balance. If there's not more balance next week, it's completely my fault. That's all I'll say. And Joe, like I said, Joe's a great young coach, great coordinator. We've scored, we played well at times with, offensively. We just got to be more consistent. And that's going to happen this week. It has to happen this week. And if it doesn't happen this week, David, then next week I'll come in and say, hey, I got to do this better. And, we'll try to get it done next week. So all that being said, it's going to come down to, we got to make blocks and make runs. And when we throw the ball, pass protect and make the right read and throw the football and catch it. Defensively, we've got to be in our gaps and can't give up, we gave up 9 big plays yesterday. The first time that's happened. So a lot of things to correct. And after all that, we still had a chance to win the game. And if we can just clean up a couple things, we can be a good football team quickly.
All right, guys, that's going to do it. Coach, we appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.